Hey guys, and welcome back to Pikmin. In the last episode, we decided to go to the distant spring and clear up some of the ship parts, and today we're going to actually finish the rest of the distant spring. We also employed my strategy of murder everything. I should also just say that you don't have to murder everything, but it really helps.
But you should.
You should. There was that one bullbear that I didn't actually antagonize at all, because nothing about it was really obstructing me in some way or shape or form, so I had no reason to engage with it. The other bullbears I've attacked, I actually went ahead and did attack. So for this thing, we're going to keep that strategy going a little more. There are a few more bullbears here, as well as the puffy blowhog, and these guys are going to be necessary to get rid of, so that way we don't have any distractions when we're bringing back the ship parts. There are 6 left to gather, and honestly, trying to get all 6 of them in one day, it's not actually difficult, but it's tricky, because I had to do multiple attempts, I want to say maybe 10, because sometimes I would get one part a little too late, and the Pikmin would, at the end of the day, just be a smidge off before we actually received it. It was honestly kind of fun in that challenging aspect, and not in an annoying way, like Forest of Hope.
One nice thing, if you kill an enemy, the next day they'll stay dead, and they won't respawn for 5 days, if not more.
Yeah, so it's best to either use them as good Pikmin food, or to just get them out of the way.
Oh, I remember that monster.
Yeah.
Saw a leg of.
Yeah, we're gonna be dealing with him soon. You weren't here when we encountered it in Forest of Hope, but did you know that Olimar is strong enough to punch the rocks on his own?
No.
He can. He could just stand in front and just start wailing on the rocks. It was awesome.
Why does he need Pikmin?
Well, I mean, he needs somebody to carry, he needs somebody to carry all the ship parts, because he doesn't feel like it. It's not worth Olimar's time.
It's like a gator. He can punch, but he can't lift.
Olimar goes to this gym on planet Hokitate, and then when he encounters the president, he's just like, I want to raise, flex.
Well, we already saw when we got the massage machine. He's got a bad back. Maybe that's why.
That actually is true.
He's like the John Travolta dog. He can punch.
No, he's to be punched.
Oh, yes.
I understand the joke now.
That means it's not funny!
Mace Wizard!
I'll be honest, I was really disappointed in myself when I didn't realize what you meant.
Behind the scenes of a joke.
6 years later.
Welcome back to Behind the Joke, aka Jokey School. I did not understand what Travis meant with the John Travolta dog bit, but in hindsight, when I realized what he meant, I sadly burnt my toast the very next minute. It was very depressing.
Also, it's clear we write our jokes in advance. Everything we say here is a script.
Wait, that's not what he wrote.
So these Dumples...
Oh, those poor Dumples.
They're dead.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. That's where we wanted the conversation.
I know. It was... If you read in page 2, I say, hey, those are Dumples.
Hold on, I think I'm on the wrong page. Hold on.
I need a shower. Fuck, that's page 5. Fuck. Alright, so this puzzle, real jokes in the way, as opposed to aside. With these blue Pikmin, we're actually going to go ahead and convert them to yellows, because the yellow Pikmin are the only ones capable of reaching that ledge. Unfortunately, we can't bring our yellow Pikmin here, at least not in the traditional way. So what they want you to do is to go ahead and convert them, grab the ship part we need, then reconvert them again. Now, I'll admit that I do kind of like the idea, I get what they're going with, but this to me feels like busy work, because of how you have to go and reconvert them anyway. So, it kind of, to me at least, feels like a little way to force the attributes of the Pikmin, the yellows go high and the blues go in water.
Yeah, I definitely prefer how they do it at speed runs, where they just have a Bulbor bite you and knock you up onto the geometry.
Yeah, you have to like lure a bull bear, and it like bumps you up to the top, so you can completely skip this. For the sake of the Let's Play, I decided against it. I really wanted to, but I just figured, you know what, I feel like we might have some interesting things to talk about. Or I could just go ahead and complain about how I don't like this puzzle.
See, that was an advance at least.
So, you know, it's really not that bad. Honestly, I would also recommend that you go ahead and not reconvert them and just have some blues on the side ready to go. So that way you can A, have some extra yellow Pikmin, and B, go ahead and use those yellows to get some bomb rocks, since we need them anyways.
We have leftover blues.
Yeah, we have more than enough reserve blues. But not enough purples, unfortunately, and I need them to please not drown.
I kind of like the idea of everybody into the pool that we just saw there.
Okay, that was me deliberately, like, just being like, I'll just whistle you guys, it's fine. I can throw you, but this saves just about enough time. Also, I think it's funnier, so...
That happened way too often with me, like especially back in the Forest of Hope with that box. I had so many Pikmin fall into the water, and I would call them over to the bank, and they would just fall back in the water.
Yeah, so I also learned that that is also a glitch. That's not supposed to happen. They're supposed to, in some aspects, okay, this part of the land is too high, so logically speaking, you just have to go the other way, but sometimes, and I encountered this glitch in the next area, but I had a Pikmin drowning indefinitely, and it wouldn't stop drowning. I was literally trying to whistle them, but he kept, like, slipping into the drink upon, like, me whistling them back, that I just said, alright, fuck it, die then. I mean, normally I would feel bad, but in that case, it's like, look, you're doing it on purpose. I think you want attention, so I'm just gonna go.
Now your death is inconveniencing me.
Therefore, perish.
You come back a couple hours later, he's like napping, and then he looks over and goes, "Oh shit!"
Son of a bitch. He did this on purpose. So even though bombs explode right next to drowning Pikmin, I guess they're immune to it.
Well, you know, water's wet.
That is true.
That's all you gotta know.
Page 4, water is wet. Good one, you're right. So
It covers everything, I think.
I mean, there's nothing else I can add other than that's weird. You know, like how Arnold Schwarzenegger does his DVD commentary where it's just him saying what's happening on screen.
I remember on the set the water was wet.
Well, it's really cool, Arnold. So for Kindergarten Cop, we decided to have Arnold be in it.
I got wet.
I made money that day.
Yeah, the script was handled by Jimmy McWright Penn. I don't actually know his name.
Jimmy McWet.
Yes, thank you, Arnold. The only light in my life. Thank you for telling me. So we're gonna have the Blues go ahead and grab the rotor.
My pants were wet right now.
Because
I'm getting old.
Did you know there's a Kindergarten Cop 2? With not Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Dolph Lundgren, yeah.
Yeah, and he looks like a leathery-faced man, and they're just like, yeah, he's really hot. No, he's not.
This time we're dry.
So, Dolph, what do you think about the set of Kindergarten Cop 2? I was really dry in this scene. Cool. Alright, so us getting the rotor is actually, I recommend that also being another part you get first. Basically, get the farthest ones or the ones that take the most work to get out of the way first, because the other ship parts, one of them that we're actually going to get is unnecessary and not really required, but since we're going for the best ending, we're of course going to go for it. It's best for you to go for the ones that don't really take much work. Like here, all you have to do is just throw 10 yellows to get the UV lamp. You also have to be careful with the camera angle, because sometimes it's possible for that to happen. or you end up throwing them and they end up sliding off the little ramp.
It's harder to get them up there than it looks.
Yeah.
Definitely. I kind of misread, like, instinctually what you meant by UV lamp as some sort of uvula comparison.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I was like, no, that's not right. What was I thinking?
UV as in ultraviolet.
We shove this in the ship's mouth.
This is what makes our ship talk.
We'll regret this later.
Yeah, this
We'll regret this in the sequel.
in the sequel where the ship literally gets repossessed and then they give you a worse ship. So I finally noticed that one blue was stuck behind the wall. And now we're gonna have a little talk about the UV lamp while I go and get, I believe, the last part that I'm missing. Oh, no, actually, no. There's the second to last part. This is me checking the map to make sure that I don't have anybody in places that I don't want them to be, as well as making sure that I'm still on the right track, because I'm looking at my sun meter.
Is this where you go fight the monster? Oh, yes.
Yes, it is. Also, this is a thing with me, but I recommend nectaring your Pikmin as often as you can. Me, I don't really do it because I like to save as much time as possible. And B, I feel like I'm experienced enough so where it's like I don't really need them every single Pikmin to be a flower.
I don't like making my Pikmin wet.
Thank you, Arnold. So, what we're gonna do is throw a Pikmin directly into the... Well, first of all, we're gonna see what the rotor's about.
The yellows look very confused.
The cannon beetle, you have to actually throw a Pikmin into when it's, like, getting ready to suck things in, because it's actually gonna spit out a big rock at you. But you can interrupt it by throwing, well, first of all...
By having a cutscene.
Yeah, it's a really good strat, I found.
It cuts back to him just...
You can tell which ship parts are not necessary because Olimar will comment about, I don't really need this ship part, but it's nice to have. We only have a couple more left. So you throw the Pikmin into the little mouth, and then its hatch in the back opens up. Despite the fact that it's called the Armor Cannon Beetle and it's smoking, any Pikmin type, like Thorn mentioned in a previous type, will actually work.
Yeah, you'd think you'd need reds, but no.
Yeah. I always came here with reds, but once I figured that out, I realized, oh, it doesn't really matter though.
Oh, I can come here with the weaker Pikmin.
Yeah.
See, it's not hotter, it just highlights a giant weakness of a monster.
Somehow that's not obvious.
Now, do the Pikmin know not to walk through the fire at this point?
No.
Oh, they will walk directly into the fire and die.
Oh, God!
But thankfully, the route they're gonna take doesn't require them to go this way, because they're gonna go down the bridge. Unfortunately, they could still be caught on fire when I'm just casually going through here, and you don't have that much time to save them in this game, so we just lost them, but that's okay. We have plenty of blues.
That's okay, I have no empathy.
I stopped feeling years ago, so this is nothing.
On the set of Batman.
You would lose your feeling too.
I love this low-energy version of the Arnold Schwarzenegger impression, because everyone's always like, la la la. We're just like, hey, I'm Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's it.
That's how he actually talks.
Yeah.
He's pretty low-key.
This is me when I become the governor. I say, I want to help California in this scene. I want to help California in this scene.
I forgot my actual political career was in the movie.
Make California wet again.
We need it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that's actually the tagline for the campaign.
If you make me governor, I will cause the rain.
I will try to make it rain, and he throws money at nobody, and he's like, why isn't it working?
I spent the last 10 years learning the rain dance.
I couldn't do it right, but I can tango now.
So now we get the pilot seat. Olimar actually needs this in order to not die while he's flying in space. Because not only do we have the massage machine is actually, I believe, optional.
Yeah.
This he absolutely needs, but the fact that he's been, like, sitting on basically nothing for 7 days straight, that has to hurt, right? It's gotta be aching more than just his back.
It's necessary, but you don't actually see it on the dolphin.
There are some that are like that. Some of the ship are like, the ship will sparkle, but you won't see an actual effect on it. Me making sure that all the Pikmin are good to go. There's one green one there, a result of the seed mechanic that's only in this one. This ship part, on the other hand,
This looks like a big part.
yeah, this actually does. Like, now our Lego toy ship is looking amazing.
It doesn't quite fit.
Yeah, not quite, but it's good enough for Olimar.
Also, you might have pointed this out before, but I'm having a question. What's the point of a meter being outside of a ship?
Okay, you want to know what the funny thing is? Olimar himself actually says, I actually don't know what it does, and it makes a lot of noise, and it really bugs me, but I figured it's important to the ship.
It scares me.
There are some parts that he, like, talks about where, like, you get a little bit of background on why he has it. There's, like, I believe there's, like, the extraordinary bolt. I think he actually had a little comment about it on the rotor, but for the bolt, he's like, yeah, the salesman told me that it's, like, really, really good. And, like, for the rotor, I think he said, like, yeah, the salesman really talked me into, like, getting the ship part. So it kind of makes me wonder, they seem to have, like, an actual function, but it also makes me think, what if they actually don't have functions and he just thinks they're important because the guy selling it to him told him it was?
And because he thinks they're important, if he doesn't have them, he purposefully crashes.
Perfect way to test it.
I feel like having an accident today, he says.
Why is my ship taking itself apart?
Even though we have the bowsprit on top of it, even though it fixed most of itself together, it didn't actually screw itself in properly. Well, we'll get to that later, though. So now that we successfully have gotten every single part in the Distant Spring, I just want to spend the last of my moments gathering some extra Pikmin that I can get, because I have the time for it.
Of course, blues.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, it's the only thing. Look, they almost look like purple if I squint, so...
Eat up.
We need them to eat the reds now.
That's how nature works.
Well, I'm still waiting for when the pink Pikmin and the purple Pikmin reproduce into a Mega Super Pikmin, so that way every Pikmin game is a joke to me.
A fat Pikmin with wings.
And a really ugly gray.
It's just a lump with eyes.
We give up!
Yeah, they didn't make it, so they were just like, well, even though we're heading directly towards the Pikmin, clearly we can't just drag it in there and climb. We just need to stop. But then again, that's just a quirk in Pikmin in general.
I like how it's not until the second to last completion animation for the ship repairing itself that you actually get the binding that holds everything together.
Yeah, if you notice, the top of the ship actually screwed itself when it takes off, but when we land again in the next area, it's unscrewed again. So, even though we're doing pretty good, sometimes depending on like what day it is, Olimar will be like, man, I've gathered 25 ship parts, and I have like 26 extra days. I hope I can find the last one. It's like, Olimar, you're doing incredible. Like, you can literally go home now if you wanted.
No. I'm gonna die here.
Olimar, you're doing great. You have all these Pikmin.
I'm a pessimistic person. What can I say?
Listen, I'm gonna crash into the next meteor to prove you wrong, so...
That salesman convinced me.
You're literally being bombarded by every meteor in the world right now, and you're alive.
For now.
Boy, in this baby, you can crash into every comet except for one. Just be careful you don't get that one.
You'll know it when you hit it.
Oh, your ship broke? Ah, you found it!
Aw, there you go. Consider yourself Crashy Man. The man who crashes.
His name's Rupert, he got me too. Ah, we're buddies.
Hey, your president guy, he's like hiring, right? Like you do good work for him, right?
He's like, hi, right? I met him. He's not quite there.
I mean, I've seen his face before. He's got something. Why does he look like that?
Does he have a skull? I know a good skull guy.
You know anybody who eats people or just items in general?
Those guy Miyamoto eats everyone he sees.
I like to imagine that because this is game 1, Louis is currently going through jobs, being the space abomination he currently is.
Currently, he's president. Or as I said before, mayor.
Alright, Mayor Louis, what do you think we should do with these bugs? You heard him, folks. He wants to eat them. Just feed him.
Shove it in his mouth. If he fights back, that means he wants it.
I mean, that is canon, so...
Now you eat these bugs. Eat these bugs. Nom 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 nom.
So, in the final day, we're going to be going to the final area in the game, which is literally called the final trial.
It's a weird way to name a land.
Yeah, I mean, I like to think that Olimar's the one naming these areas, like, oh, this is the... He names it... Oh, no, that actually is what it is, because in the first area, he says, I see a forest here, and there's some parts I could find. I'm going to call it the Forest of Hope, and then he calls the next place the Forest Navel. So he is naming all these places. Him naming it Final Trial is a little dramatic.
God, I hope I can find this final part. I mean, I know exactly where it is because I named the place the final trial, but, you know.
They are nice in that the final piece is optional. If it was necessary, there would be many people who never beat the game.
That is true, because even though you have the ability to go to sunset, there is no menu option. It's like, just go home.
Yeah, and I know that because I recorded the alternate endings, and I had to just sit there and constantly click go to sunset, wait, go to sunset, wait.
It's just like, for Pikmin 4, there's a give up option. It's just day 1. Nah. Credits roll.
Just cuts to Olimar just laying on the ground, not doing anything. Just... Wonder where all the parts are. Shut up, map.
Gets quietly scooped up by a Bulborb.
Who sadly chews him. Just...
Oh, you taste sad.
You're making me sad too. It's a placebo effect.
You know, that reminds me, like, when Smash Ultimate was coming out, and, like, they were showing off all the cool new things and all the new adjustments we made to the previous characters. It reminded me, like, all they had for Olimar was, like, when he gets hit really hard, his helmet cracks. And then when he lands on the ground, it gets fixed. All they came up with for him was when he gets his ass whooped, it really looks like he got hurt. Like, cool, thanks.
With Miyamoto just nodding, smiling, like, yes. That's all I wanted. It bothered me that his helmet never cracked.
It also bothered me that he didn't use motion controls to breathe. So for Pikmin 4, we've corrected that.
With the new breathing peripheral where we installed the Wiimote 2.
You must rhythmically press A and B for his heart to beat.
Do you remember that one E3 where, like, Nintendo had it demonstrated for, like, 2 seconds and then it never came out? It was like a Wiimote peripheral that read your heart rate or something?
Maybe they canceled it because it looked like something you'd see at a hospital.
Vitality sensor, and it's like a thing that you, like, stuck on your finger. That thing never came out.
That's probably for best.
Because I can't imagine what horrifying games you could make with that or what use it would have had.
I remember there was a horror game for the Wii that tried to technically sense your heart rate, so I imagine that it was probably made for that. It would basically be like, your heart rate was high, you were a wuss. How dare you get scared by stuff, you nerd?
Like one of those strength test games where it's like, you hit it not hard enough and it's like, wimp. But if you got like halfway through, it's like, yeah, you're a human with thumbs, we guess.
Human with thumbs, got out of heart.
So next time we're gonna go to the final trial.
I guess.
I guess.